What's up, guys, and welcome to BitCast episode 119 for the month of April 2024. I'm your host, Jake Martin, and on the mics, as always, we have Landry Smith. What's up, dude?
Hello. What's up, man? Good to see you, buddy.
Long time no see.
We got to get on the mics last night, so we should be good and primed, ready to go.
Yeah, a little inside baseball for you guys. Landry and I were on a Quick Play podcast. One of our friends, Mark Erickson, has another podcast, and we were on that last night. So this is day 2 of podcasting in a row. I don't think I want to break that record and go for day 3. That doesn't sound like a good time.
I need a break.
And honestly, this is why this podcast is so nice, because you have a whole month where we don't have to even talk about it, and then we can just come on here and be like, yeah, these are the things that I thought were interesting.
That is nice, yeah.
You might forget some things that happened. You're like, oh, that did happen. You're right. But, that's okay. But yeah, if you guys are tuning in, Landry and I are back for the April episode of BitCast, where we're going to just recap everything that happened in April that we think you should know about. Because, we're all adults. We all might have responsibilities now. Not everyone here, but sometimes it's nice to just kind of sit back on your laurels and consume the news that comes to you, instead of having to go out and seek it. Landry and I are here to just deliver it to you on a nice golden platter of all the things that you might actually want to know.
In 45 minutes to an hour.
Maybe. Yeah. 45 minutes is the goal today, actually. I don't think there's as much to talk about. I said that last time. We went long.
True.
We'll see. But I do feel that way truly today. So we're on a show for you guys. We are discussing the month in gaming news, followed by Game & Watch, and then Game of the Month Club, and then Name That Game Music, everyone's favorite segment of BitCast. And a little bit of housekeeping. If you are listening and you enjoy what we do, please leave us a review right into the show at bitcast@bitbloggist.com, or check on us at social. We'll be hearing those takes or whatever else out there, and we might read them off on the podcast. Who knows? But X, as Landry likes to say.
Hey, I didn't name the platform. Okay.
Every time you say it, though, you're always like, "I'm on X," and you give it a little bit of emphasis.
Well, it's a ridiculous name. I mean, it almost merits that.
As ridiculous as Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Deluxe Edition 4.
No, not as ridiculous as that.
That actually isn't that bad.
At least there's brevity in the name X.
True. Which franchise has the worst titles? Do you think it's Dragon Quest or Kingdom Hearts?
Oh, Kingdom Hearts, without question. I think Dragon Quest, for the most part, is pretty clean. Yeah. And then just that last one was ridiculous.
Dude, Kingdom Hearts, man. 358 over 2 days. What does that even mean? What even is that?
I don't know. You could play the whole game and not figure that out. So
you really could. I played that game and I was like, I don't know. I think there was a reference to it, and I still don't quite get it.
I cannot remember if I played it. I played one of the ones on, I think I played Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah, those are both the 3DS titles, which, they were fine. I've been thinking about those a lot lately. I was like, would I ever go back to those? I think really if you're going to play Kingdom Hearts, you should just play 1, 2, and 3 and just be done.
I think so too.
Don't
go
outside.
Side stuff is.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Really, 1 and 2 are all you should play. 3 is not that great. It gets lost in the sauce.
Yeah. I think 1 and 2 are better than 3, but I did not mind 3, personally.
I need to go back and play it. It's been a minute, but I remember just the build up for that game was through the roof. And then when it came out, people were like, this is okay.
Yeah, well, it felt like it was a PS2 title as far as mechanics go. It just didn't really innovate. It was just very iterative, and which is fine for me as a longtime fan, but I think we all wanted a little bit more out of it.
Yeah. I think it was just it just delved so much into that nonsense. There's just so much of trying to make the story make sense. And at this point, it doesn't make sense. So it's just don't worry about trying to explain it. Let's just go ahead and have fun here.
Yeah, send that. You already messed up on it. There's too many devices you have to play to get that thing to all piece together, or dedicate hundreds of your hours to not even the games really, but to Wikipedia. And no one's going to enjoy that.
Fringe YouTube accounts.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a great segue into this month in gaming news because we have nothing to talk about that's related to Kingdom Hearts. So, without further ado, let's talk about the industry stuff that you should know about from April 2024. Starting at the top, Nintendo shut down Wii U and 3DS online servers April 8th. Sad time, Landry.
I know, man. It's the end of an era. I still play my Wii U pretty regularly, and every once in a while I'll pick up the 2DS and play an old game, but I'm not ever online, so this doesn't really affect me. Most of the online titles have Switch counterparts that are better online, faster online. So I think this affects a very, very small amount of people. But it did affect some people because there were still, apparently, whenever they closed down the servers, there were a few hundred people still playing. So I don't know if that's because of the spike of like, let's get one last ring of nostalgia and ride this thing until it dies. But
do you see that story about the people playing Mario Kart 3DS like until the servers shut off? They were like racing like mid-race online, and then like the game just shuts down. It's kind of a sad video. It's like, oh
yeah, that is sad.
It's over.
It's got to end at some point, I guess.
Yeah, it's got to end. I mean, you're not going to be able to play Mario Kart 7 online anymore. But there's like
the whole Grand Prix thing.
Yeah, and there's like weird workarounds. I think someone must, and this is like more on the emulation side, but people were talking about how they already have like a workaround to get it back online if you wanted to play. Online servers.
I read about that too. It seems like it's pretty easy to access, and they've even got it for Wii U now. I think not 3DS, but you don't even have to have like a homebrew or anything on your device. You can just get it. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
If you want it, go ahead and do it.
The one thing I think that like I could see a community building up around and like probably staying pretty consistent on is Super Mario Maker 1.
Oh yeah,
that game's pretty sweet.
All those levels.
Yes.
Lost in the ether now because it's no longer online.
Yeah, but even with the new, even with a new online, like all those levels are gone because like it's just starting from scratch. But
yeah, it's a different server entirely. Dang.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy to think about. Like, I don't understand the business side of like keeping online servers up and how much that actually is costing them. But I imagine it's enough for Nintendo to be like, yeah, we're done supporting this. It's just costing us money and we don't want these anymore. So
right.
Bye-bye.
And it's a security risk, right? So that's probably even more of what it is for them is like keeping all that up, keeping people monitoring it. It's just not worth it.
Yep. It's over. Move on. We're on to the Switch 2 next. Okay. It's not even a thing anymore. But before
Jake,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, did you have a favorite Wii U game or 3DS game?
I'm glad you asked, Landry, because I was going to ask the same thing. Wii U, man. This is like, it's weird to be nostalgic about something that I feel like wasn't that long ago, but I guess it was like 10 years ago now at this point.
Yeah.
And more for 3DS. Wii U. And this is a cop-out answer, but Nintendo Land was just so great.
Oh, man. Really?
I love that game.
Cool. Yeah, there were 2 mini games that were really awesome at Nintendo Land.
The Ghost game.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was so cool. I probably only played it like 3 times in my life because around that time, like you were probably like right in the middle of college and everything. I had already graduated, so I'd already kind of like shipped those years of my life. So I was around friends every once in a while, but not as much as I would have liked to. But that game is super cool,
so fun.
Yeah, for me,
how about you?
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Oh, of course.
That game is so awesome, and I still play it every once in a while. So very good.
That and Wind Waker HD. I would love to have that back on the Switch.
Dude, so good.
Someday.
So good. I've been playing through that lately, the past month.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous, but not jealous enough to ask you if I can borrow your Wii U. Like I don't want to play it that bad.
The most cumbersome system to deal with. There's just so many pieces. So yeah, not a very borrowable system. Maybe in like 20 years when you get that real nostalgia itch, you're like, oh man, I wish I was young again.
I'm ready to be inconvenienced.
All the pieces.
Borrowability is a great term we should coin. Like how easy is it to borrow this console from a friend? Because that really plays a lot into how much I want to play this game.
That's a good point.
And then 3DS, this is a weird cut for me, but I really enjoyed Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS.
Oh, dude. That's like almost a deep cut. That game was sick though.
It was sick. There was like a bit of it that wasn't great, but I remember distinctly buying the Circle Pad Pro for my 3DS so that I could actually play that game because it like needed 2 joysticks essentially, and I was like, this is a really good Resident Evil game.
The graphics were ridiculous.
Pretty good. You're on a cruise ship. It's pretty spooky, and my buddy and I both got it like the same day, and we just hung out all day and played it. So I was like, yeah, good memes. Good memes.
For sure. I got to go Link Between Worlds for my pick. Yeah.
So
very good.
That's like any DS game that involved like you closing the screen or any sort of like dual screen functionality. I feel like we're never really going to see on the Switch until they figure out a way to make that work.
Yeah, I don't know if the dual screens are coming back ever again. I have this harebrained idea that they might incorporate some kind of like off-screen dual screen capability for Switch 2 where you can have it on the TV and still have a handheld in your hand, but even that wouldn't be the same thing. But
it would work for most scenarios, but there's one game that I always think of, and it's either Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks, where there was that one puzzle where you actually had to close the game while it was still on to make the like there was like an X up on top, and then your map was below, and you had to like close your DS onto the map so that way when you picked it back up, it had imprinted the X in the bottom part.
Oh, dude, that's wild.
And I was like, that puzzle made me so mad. I could not find the solution. And then,
well, I guess you're going to find it, right? If you just close it
in frustration, which is what I did, and it worked. But how are they going to do that on?
That's a pro tip though for like all Zelda games. When you're extremely frustrated with a puzzle, just close down the game, come back to it an hour later, and then it's like it's staring you right there in the face.
I'm a fool.
Like, how did I miss this?
You really can get like zombie brain. Like it happens with Mario too. Like you can be cruising along, and then all of a sudden, like you're just in this zone where you're dying over and over and over and over and over again. You're not even like really trying to play it the way you're supposed to anymore. You're like, I need to take a break. I need to step back, relax, and see how I feel when I come back. And usually it works. Usually.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
dude, I've got to yawn so hard. I've yawned like 7 times since we started.
I'm tired. I got sunburn. I told you this. I got roasted, and I'm still tired. You're making me want to yawn now too, which is not good.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We're gonna get this done though.
I'm not gonna edit this out. This is in. The yawns are in. All right. Up next, really quick. Nintendo is skipping Gamescom, which typically occurs in August. And all I have to say about that is, I mean, it's not really surprising. They've usually always had some kind of presence there, so that is surprising in that regard. But my question to you, Landry, is what does this mean? Is this because like there's nothing to show? Like the Switch 2 is coming in 2025 or what?
I don't know. I mean, there was all those rumors that last year at Gamescom they showed off the Switch 2 to developers behind the scenes, and there's probably different outlets for them. Nintendo never uses Gamescom as an outlet to announce things. I shouldn't say never, but in recent memory, I can't remember a time when they did. What they use it as is like kind of like those E3 booths they used to set up. Like they'll have something like that, and people can come and play the games. And I wonder if those are going to go the way of kind of like those Nintendo events that they've been doing. I can't remember what they're called.
Tours or whatever it is. Yeah.
And then they've also got the amusement parks now for those things. So I don't know. I mean, their place at Gamescom right now, if they've already shown people the Switch 2. I think developers have access to it. They understand what it is more than likely. So at this point, they're probably just kind of resting and waiting to announce things. And that's probably not the right outlet for them. So what's the point this year? I imagine next year they'll be back full swing with a bunch of different Switch 2 games to play for fans who are going to get their fill. It does make me think, like, even on the Switch, the solo Switch console, like, what are we going to get this holiday season? Is it going to be that last year, the Wii U, where it's like Mario Tennis that, doesn't even have any
Ultra
kind of campaign?
Smash,
it's just
Power
like
Smash,
all you can
was.
literally do is play with like friends and online, and there's no like ranking system. Like, are they going to
Don't say that.
shove something out the door? Or are they just going to like,
out.
are they just going to chill? Like, I mean, they've got a ton of evergreen titles. They could probably, I don't know, maybe they'll do a remaster or something, but I think it's going to be a pretty low-key year. And to be honest, that's fine, man. I got tons of video games to play if I want to play. video games. So
Yes, I need things to catch up on.
yeah,
But there is I was looking at the game releases for the just today's show, making this outline, and like looking in the latter half of the year, we really don't have a lot that we know yet, and that this is typically the case now. And I'm really hoping Nintendo saves us with a second half of the year onslaught of cool things coming to either NSO or other things that just make it a bit more of a way to close out the Switch life cycle.
I
Because
think it'd be really cool if they brought some cool stuff to NSO this second half of the year.
Pokemon, or I mean, if they really wanted to go crazy, they could just start dropping GameCube games on there.
That's not going to happen, Jake. But
That would be
that'd be cool.
crazy.
I mean, I think it would be cool if they got like an old system too, like Neo Geo or TurboGrafx. I mean, I know those deals cost a lot of money, but whatever they put on, though, you got to think is going to last for the future. So, yep.
Yeah.
I think, I don't think this is big news. I think it was almost predictable, but I think they'll be back at Gamescom in the future, full guns ablazing.
I look forward to it.
Same.
Up next, ID at Xbox Showcase happened today. And I had forgot this was happening. I had it on my calendar. But there was some good stuff shown off. Everything else looked really creative. There was nothing that's like, no two games were alike, which was kind of fun. Like everything had its own unique spin and art style almost, and different approaches to, I guess, just gameplay. And I was like, these all look pretty cool. Like just, it's like a ton of indies. And like you were saying, it felt more like a PS3 kind of era where there was like just a bunch of random stuff you hadn't seen before showing up that looked graphically impressive, artistically impressive, but maybe not that AAA size scale, but it was cool.
Dude, it was awesome. I thought it was a really good showing. There were a number of titles that I was interested in for the first time for Xbox in a long time. I thought, there was some stuff that looked like PS2-ish, some stuff that looked PS3-ish, and I think that's a good thing, 'cause, like we've talked about so much on this show, like development times are so astronomically high. I think it's great that a lot of these studios are getting a way to crank out a game that looks like it's not going to take that much time to create. So, I mean, and that's not to say like something with a good art style is only going to take 3 or 4 years, but some of these games like Astor, Blade of Monolith look really cool. And I don't know how big of a team's on that, but it did just remind me of kind of like those action RPGs from the PS2 era, like Beyond Good and Evil, or something even like Legend of Zelda, kind of, but like with more of an action focus. And then another one that really stood out to me was Hangry, where you've just got this guy who goes into forests and seems like he beats up on monsters and then comes back and eats, and that's like the cycle of the game. That looks pretty cool and interesting. It's not like a AAA budget game or gameplay loop even that they're shooting for, but it looks like a fun diversion and something that could be really cool. Dungeons of Hinterberg was another one I thought that looked like something, not from this era of gaming where everything's coming out seems like they're just trying to sell you a $70 game. Like I know these are Game Pass games, but these look like they would be like $20 indie titles, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the Dungeons of Hinterberg always like looks striking to me. I like the line drawn art style in that. We got some Vampire Survivors stuff too, which everyone loves.
Dude, did you play that game?
Yes.
It was incredibly fun and addictive, and I'm glad I'm not playing it anymore because I just spent so much time playing that on my phone.
It's so easy to play at the phone.
It is.
Just one-handed, just scooting around. And then they announced the Jackbox Naughty Pack, which is kind of a funny naming convention, I guess.
That was interesting. And then All You Need Is Help looked really interesting, like a great little party game as well.
Oh, is that the racing one?
No, that was Stampede. That looked cool. Kart Racer
like
Battle
Fall
Royale.
Guys. Yeah.
All You Need Is Help had like that really weird song.
Like Tetris.
And you're like, there's looks like 4 players on a map trying to like make a particular shape with like all strangely structured blocks. I think that would be fun to play with a group of people.
Yeah, see, like to me, this whole showcase was a good reason to be a Game Pass subscriber, because where in the PS4 days, like they were kind of the home for indies and like a lot of these experiences that look like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great, like, I mean, you could justify spending like 10 to 20 bucks on some of these games for party nights when you have friends over. Like that just looked like they'd be fun, but you maybe wouldn't play a ton of outside of that context. And Game Pass is the perfect place for that, where it's like, oh, these fun party games are all in here. I have access to them. Let's check out this one. Let's see if it's any fun. Okay, yeah, that was a few fun rounds. Let's bounce to the next one I saw that just came out, the racing one, Stampede. Let's check that out. Oh, this is so much fun. Let's just play this all night. Right. You can just bounce around that way. And unfortunately, we can't do that as easily on PS5 these days.
I mean, they still have a ton of indies on PS5, but I don't know, man. I just feel so disconnected to what's going on with PlayStation right now. As a PlayStation fan and as somebody who's like a real hobbyist, Xbox keeping their player base up to date with what's coming out. Even Nintendo with the Indie Showcase is keeping their player base up to date with what's coming out. PlayStation does not have that presence, and the state of plays are just like way too interspersed. And honestly, like when they come along, they're so boring. It's just, I don't know. There's just not enough firepower there to intrigue.
They're not boring. Okay, none of these are boring by like major concepts. All right.
Okay, you're right. That was a little harsh. But there's nothing.
Those poor developers out there are like, my games aren't boring.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, what I mean is Nintendo Directs, for instance. There's never going to be a Nintendo Direct where they're not going to start with something that's going to at least appeal to like 70% of their audience.
Yeah.
And finish with something like a bang as well. Like they know how to do it. That's why they haven't had one in a long time, but they do these partner directs that, you know, you go in with lower expectations.
Fill the gaps
that's
a little
fine.
bit. Yeah.
But anyway, the PlayStation State of Play, like you just never know what you're going to get from there. Like the last one was cool, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but
it seems like they're focusing more on their core titles that they want to show off. Like Stellar Blade got a lot of press this month because that was like their main launch, really. So I think for them, just trying to do as much as they can to capitalize on what they've already spent money on to make sure they get publicity from it, and then they just move on. And hopefully we'll get a partner direct that has more stuff coming out like this, where it's like, oh, these are some cool small titles coming to PS5. So, who's to say? All right. While we're on the topic of Microsoft, I guess we'll just briefly mention these Q3 earnings that came out. Let's see, this came out, I don't know what day this was, April 25th, so just a few days ago. But main takeaways, device revenue down 17%, gaming revenue is up 51%, Xbox content and services are up 62% in revenue, and hardware sales are down 31%.
Wow.
So it's like two pictures there, like the devices and hardware not doing great at Microsoft.
Yeah, but it really paints the picture of like, listen, this is a streaming service company now. Not streaming service, but a games as a service. What am I trying to find?
Yeah, the software.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're a software company, and Microsoft has always been a software company.
True.
But this does really kind of paint that picture in a way that's very clear. Like there's no other way to look at these numbers and be like, yeah.
It also makes you wonder, like, where would Microsoft be without Bethesda and id, and is it id or ID? And then Activision Blizzard. I mean, without those two companies, they would be in a really tough spot. But
yeah,
they have those companies, so
they have them. They have the money to pay for them, so they're okay. They're afloat and they're doing just fine. But yeah, I think it's like, you know, again, being a business owner must be so hard, especially when you have like this many facets of your business to like look at, and for them to like look ahead and say, hey, we know we're just going to continue to lose on this, you know, hardware front. Let's just go ahead and push into the software side and just start buying up these things that have a bigger return for us and see what we can do with that. So kudos to them. Hopefully it continues to work. As we've already mentioned previously, just about the ID at Xbox Showcase, those all looked great. And if they can keep providing that kind of content, like, I mean, they're gonna be doing just fine. So we'll see. And then last thing, Landry, Super Metroid celebrated its 30th anniversary on April 18th for North America. So it was pretty fun. And I guess you had this idea, and I like this. listing off really quickly just maybe the top 5 Metroidvanias that are like similar to it, inspired by Super Metroid, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like one of the founding fathers of that genre. I mean, it was that, and then Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which we had on Game Club a couple months ago, and that was really fun to play through. But Super Metroid came first and really started a lot of these, like get a weapon, use it as a key to unlock different parts of the map you've already been to, that kind of exploration. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's in honor of Super Metroid, let's blast through some top 5 Metroidvanias.
I don't even know if I can name off 5. So we'll just try to see if we can get a collective 5 maybe here.
Man.
So I'll start with one that I feel like is the closest for me that I've appreciated the most, and that would be Hollow Knight, probably.
Hollow Knight is really good. I had that, and I think that was number 6 for me. But that's okay. I've been pretty tough on Hollow Knight in the past. There's no denying though that it is a really great game and really fun. The music is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's really fun the combat's really great as well.
Okay. How about you?
For me, actually, one of my favorites is Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow on the DS. Oh. That one is... I played Circle of the Moon first. That was the first Castlevania I ever had. And then I got Dawn of Sorrow with my DS. It was the first game I had on my DS. And it's just... I got some really fond memories with that, and there was just like some of the monsters, and I haven't played this in forever, but from what I remember, some of the monsters like literally took up both screens, like that's how big they were, and it was just really fun. They did some cool things with the graphics, and it being closer to the launch of the DS took advantage of that a lot. So really fun, good game.
Another one that I just found on my list that I pulled up that I really loved was Guacamelee. I don't know if you
I played
that
Guacamelee 1 and 2.
I had it on the Vita, actually.
Nice.
And that's where I played both of those at and thought they were great.
Those are good. They're definitely, I think, super action forward games. If you don't like that kind of action combat, they're going to be tough for you. I played both of those and beat both of those. The humor gets on my nerves a little bit, but other than that, they're great.
Some of those sections, designed. Some of those platforming sections are really hard because you have to use his moves to get to certain areas, and they are a little obtuse.
No question. But I mean, some of those when you pull them off, you just feel amazing.
I'm unbeatable. Yeah. I'm incredible. All right, how about you?
Ori and the Blind Forest is definitely one of my favorite Metroidvanias. It's again, it's the music, the atmosphere, the storytelling is unique and kind of cool. And I actually felt not like, I mean, it didn't move me in any way, I'm just gonna be honest, but I felt attached to the characters by the end of the story, and I thought that was cool. Not a lot of 2D games can pull that off. I thought it was very well done.
I've got a fun deep cut for you.
Okay.
And I agree with you on the Ori. Sorry, I was excited to talk about this, but yeah, Ori is beautiful. I haven't played the second one yet, but the first one I have on. I haven't
played the second one either
on Switch, and it's just so lovely. It's just very sweet, and the music's also incredible. And I remember the platforming being surprisingly hard. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not an easy game.
When you try and get out of those tree levels,
yes.
Pretty brutal,
intense. But the one that I just ran upon was Shadow Complex. Did you ever play this game?
Oh yeah, I never did. I always wanted to, but my Xbox had already cheesed out on me by the time it came out.
It was the hit from the Xbox store. It was one of the first huge downloaded titles for Xbox, and I remember just being so good. And at the time, I don't think I even knew the term Metroidvania, but I understood that it was a lot like Metroid because you had the maps, you got power ups and different boots. But the aiming in that game was great because it would use the dual joysticks, and so you would literally aim shooting around with your other joystick and move left and right. And that's pretty sweet. It worked well. It was a good game.
I remember that back in the day, people would cite that as one of the best indie games for 5 years, and then it just kind of fell out of the collective conscience. Mm-hmm. And I think they re-released it recently, but they didn't do enough to push it to the forefront again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a good deep cut. For me, my second favorite on my list, I had SteamWorld Dig 2.
Of course you did.
and a lot, you might not initially think of that as a Metroidvania, but it does have those elements of getting a new ability, and that can push you deeper down into the mine. And, it's got this whole second component of getting all these resources, bringing them back up, and upgrading your stuff. Very fun. Very, I don't know why, dude. I have played through that game. I'm on my 4th playthrough now. I just go back to it. Every couple of months I'll pick it back up.
Comfort food for you.
Yeah, I love that game. The music is pretty garbage, but everything else about it is pretty good.
Yeah, I played that game on your recommendation. Really loved it, and I do like that it kind of you're creating. In other Metroid games or Metroidvanias, you have a defined path that you're supposed to go on. Whereas in SteamWorld Dig, you're kind of creating that path in a way.
Right.
There are like areas you have to go through that are more linear, but to get down to them, you're just digging. And that's just a fun process. So
also one of the best games to 100%. And,
yes.
And I think all Metroidvanias, if they're good, will allow you to 100%. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the grudge I have against Hollow Knight, because to 100% that game, you have to devote like 500 hours of your life.
Pain in the butt, yeah. Speaking of pain in the butt, and one that I've never 100%ed or even fully beaten, I'll give a shout out to Dead Cells.
Oh yeah,
Dead Cells is great, but it's got that roguelike balance to it. So it's pseudo Metroidvania. You're not doing as much like backtracking and exploration as you are just kind of blasting through levels, but it's the same concept, where you're finding power-ups, moving through the levels, and trying to beat bosses and get to the next area. So it kind of combines I would say it's more action forward and less like puzzling and platforming than some of the other ones, but that one's great.
Yeah, everyone says it's Metroidvania. I put a lot of hours into Dead Cells. I guess I can see it because you're occasionally you get like shortcuts, but yeah, it definitely reminds you of the Castlevania side of Metroidvania, no question. Mm-hmm. And then the number one on my list was Super Metroid. It's so good.
We're talking about
still
it.
So good. And if you haven't played it, you should give it a run through. It'll take you about 6 hours to beat, and if you crank the volume up, dude, that game demands to be played loud. It's still good so tunes. Atmospheric. And yeah, some of the music's a bop, but most of it's like very eerie and haunting and ethereal, and it's just really cool.
How'd you ever feel about Axiom Verge?
I liked it a lot. That has an awesome soundtrack.
Yeah,
and that has more. It was a little more obtuse than maybe I'd like some Metroidvanias to be.
Same.
But I liked the music so much, and I liked just the general aesthetic of it. I powered through, even though I beat my head against the wall so often in that game. That's why I didn't put it on my list, but I liked it a lot.
It was like it really was like a lot stylistically modeled after Super Metroid, but everything else in there is like very different. And I never played the second one, but I remember enjoying it. And I also played Axiom Verge on the Vita. That was another one that got played on the Vita. Yeah.
Wild. I didn't realize that was in that time frame.
It was back in the day when PlayStation Plus for PS4 would give you a Vita game and then like 2 PS4 games or something that. It was a good time. So and like a lot of times
I have,
cross-play.
Because of that, I have like a bunch of Vita games downloaded somewhere, but I've never had a Vita before. So
it's a good little system, man. I miss it. I regret selling it, but
believe it.
But then I think about how often I played it, and I'm like, I didn't regret selling it. All right. Well, that ends our industry stuff you should know about segment of the news. So let's jump over really quickly to the big game releases of the month of April and just mention their reception. So I'll list these off really quick. Just a few of the most notable titles that came out and their scores. So we had Grounded that came out on PlayStation 5, PS4, and Switch. That got an 82. That already had an 82, I believe, because it had released prior to this. We had Harold Halibut on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And this is the claymation one, and it looked really interesting. And it's more of like I would almost describe it as like a visual novel. You're kind of walking around and talking to people and solving kind of environmental puzzles, maybe, but it's not as much of a game I think that people were expecting it to be. So visually, artistically, what it achieves is incredible. People are like, yeah, it's fine. So 69 there. Tales of Kensara Zal, the Metroidvania that just came out, 76, scored very well. Sandland, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4, PC, 72. Stellar Blade came out, got an 82 on PS5, and Sea of Thieves. That has a 69 on Metacritic, and it's going to score, I would imagine, a little bit higher because all of the DLC has come out, and it's like the most polished version of that game now.
Okay, so that's like that's 69 is the score from when it launched on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when it launched, it was a mess. So
yeah,
that should do quite a bit better.
I really want to play it. Honestly, I've been hankering to play it, and now that it's out and it's like the best version of it, I think it's a great time to step in. So I'm excited about that.
I never played that before, but it does seem right up my alley.
Just like a casual, just pirate game. You know, if you have some time to hop on with your buds and just loot and pirate your ships and stuff, like that sounds great. Sounds like a great time.
It does.
But yeah, overall, I'd say this was like a softer month in terms of like banger titles. None of these really stand out to me as like, wow, this is top right now. Like I think we came out hot in January and February, and it's kind of slowed down a little bit here. So
no question. I think Stellar Blade was probably the game of the month as far as like taking over headlines. Whether that was a negative or positive thing is debatable, but it was definitely the one that I think Twitter and a lot of like the discourse in mainstream gaming outlets was focused on.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone that's played it, they're like, it's a great game. It's good.
Yeah.
It's like, if you like Bayonetta or Nier Automata and those kinds of games, like it's right up that alley in terms of good combat, like Souls plus something else. There's like open and linear areas, and it's just like, it's just like the monster design is creative. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check it out. But yeah, overall, April, I would say, was a little bit quiet. And that's okay.
Agreed.
We need that.
Yeah.
And then closing out, interesting funny bits or worst Twitter takes. Interesting bit right here. Xbox team is focused on game preservation, which is cool. So they literally have put together a new team focused on preservation specifically. So backward compatibility just all the way into the future, and like how they can make that happen. So that's kind of cool.
That's super cool. Moving forward, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything different from them. It's kind of what they're known for right now, is that they are the best at that, with all of their generations. So, but it's nice and comforting to know that if you get an Xbox game, that you should be able to play that into the future. Because this is something, as a Nintendo fan, as a PlayStation fan,
frustrating.
Yeah, it's why I have a closet full of old junk. Because, I just want to be able to play those things. So,
dude. And think about this. Xbox, again, on our earlier conversation about them going full software. I mean, PC has been like this for a long time,
right?
Where almost everything that you could have bought on the PC is probably playable today in some form or fashion. And so for them, they're like, this is not really anything new. But in terms of these platforms themselves, it's always been an issue of backwards compatibility. And now that Xbox really is going this route of like full software, I mean, pretty soon it's just going to be like anything else, where like, these games just exist in the way that they were put out. And if you have this version of this, software that can play it, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
So I see them going that PC route very soon, and they're already kind of merged in that way.
Yeah.
So
every step they take, it seems like they're just kind of merging those things together.
They're done with the consoles for now. Not yet, but they're getting there. They're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably always have a box, but I just don't think it's their focus any longer. Yeah.
Have you seen Silicon Valley?
Oh, yeah.
I always think about the box, the whole like box thing of like them trying to sell the box and like make it it ends up like flopping and like falling, just being a total mess. But like everyone in Silicon Valley's obsession with a new box is like a funny thing.
That show's great.
It is. And then this last thing, worst Twitter takes are like just kind of funny bits. So I don't know if you saw any of the controversy around MK8BHD or whatever his name is, Marquez.
Honestly, I didn't know that this was until what you posted. It was pretty hilarious to me. Yeah,
Marquez is like one of the biggest tech reviewers in the world, and everyone's probably seen him before, seen his content, and like this is what he's become known for. And so what ended up happening is he reviewed this AI pin that was supposed to kind of circumvent your phone, your smartphone. So instead of being on your phone and not present with your friends and family, you could snap this thing to your chest and then have it do all of your phone activities for you, like finding directions to get somewhere or, making calls, all kinds of stuff like that. But he basically just put out this video that was like, this is the worst product I've ever reviewed for now. And he the video was actually very well done, and he kind of gave the full rundown of how the thing works. But then it kind of blew up because people were talking about it, and one of the tech CEOs, I don't know where this guy's from, but he came out and he's like, I find it distasteful, almost unethical to say this when you have 18 million subscribers. Hard to explain why, but with great reach comes great responsibility. Potentially killing someone else's nascent project reeks of carelessness. First, do no harm. And so I think it blew up, and I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but to me, what are your thoughts on that?
I think, for the most part, I think it's a wild take. However, I think there is a tendency in thumbnail content creation to have hyperbolic titles, and if that hyperbolic title leans into, saying that a product is trash or just has no merits or whatsoever, and then your video goes on to say, it could be better in the future or whatever, and I'm not super familiar with this story, but I do understand that kind of feedback, that kind of lash and backlash. But at the same time, if you're reviewing a product, it is your job to give an honest opinion. And I think that it seemed like it boiled down to that this product should not be purchased by the general consumer. And at the end of the day, that's his job. I mean, that's what he does. So, I mean, if you don't like the rhetoric that somebody uses, that's fine. But to say that it's unethical, that seems like a bridge too far.
And that can be applied to any kind of reviewer. It's like you can't just say IGN shouldn't be mean in their reviews or shouldn't say things like this in their reviews because you're totally killing a game. And it's like, well, if it's a bad product, we're not going to tell all of our millions and millions of people that follow us for our opinions on this stuff that it's a good product. We're not going to sugarcoat this and lead them one way that's wrong.
And it also, it doesn't matter. I mean, yes, I think overall, if you get a good review, you're more likely people are to get something, but that doesn't automatically damn a product. No. A good review or a bad review. I mean, there's plenty of games that have 6s or 7s that have gone on to, sell millions or have millions of players. Fall Guys, Sea of Thieves,
No Man's Sky,
Fortnite. Even when it first launched, I know Fortnite's a good game now, but that's what good. Creators are going to see feedback, and they're going to take that into account, and they're going to do better, or make it better. If they have a ton of money put into a product, they're going to release something that makes it better. If it's a software that they can put a patch into, or if it's hardware, come up with a different version. It's not. I don't know. I think that first of all, the CEO just kind of looked like, I don't know, the little pin thumbnail. I was just like, man, this guy.
Business. I am Mr. Business. You should listen to me. Yeah. Anyways, thought that was a funny take.
It was.
All right. Well, let's close out this month with our Horse Armor Trophy, Landry. This Horse Armor Trophy is awarded to one of the big three that has had the least. I
think we should give a trophy to the best company this month. Because
change the trophy.
Yeah, let's just change it up.
Well, it can't be Horse Armor then. It needs to be something better than Horse Armor because that was the negative spin. So
that's true.
Positive spin. What's a good item in a video game to have? The Golden Rupee.
Oh yeah, the Golden Rupee.
There you go. Who gets the Golden Rupee?
Dude, I'm going to give it to Microsoft. I feel like they've been getting a lot of wins lately, and it just feels like they've been a sleeping giant for years, and they're finally starting to wake up.
They're waking up. That's a great way to phrase it. It sounds epic when you say it that way. They're a sleeping giant, and they're finally waking up.
And they've got a Golden Rupee under their pillow.
I mean, and we had Fallout come out. I mean, I know it's not directly attached to Microsoft. Now it is, but Bethesda and Fallout, the TV show was huge. People loved it.
Yeah.
And it's
And now that game has like 5 million players. The Fallout franchise.
People are on there. On Fallout 76 even is getting a ton of people coming in.
Yeah,
so it's
over
just
1 million concurrent players right now. So it's crazy.
Nuts. So good for Microsoft. You get the golden rupee. And we'll be more positive. We'll give out golden rupees instead of horse armor. Trophies.
Sometimes I think the horse armor trophy is merited. Like it needs, because that 1 month when we created it was like every single company was
all
just
bad.
like crap in the bed.
So many layoffs, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Take-Two had some layoffs too. I didn't put that in this breakdown this month. All right, let's jump over to Game & Watch, looking at May's game releases that we think will be worth checking out.
Dude, we got a good month coming up.
We do. I'm very excited about this. A little slim, but I'm excited about almost all of these.
Same.
So yeah, Landry, why don't you break it down for us, actually, on the old Game & Watch list.
We've got Animal Well coming out May 9th to PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC. I don't know if that's on Xbox or not. Probably is.
It probably is.
Braid Anniversary is coming out May 14th. That was literally the first indie game that I ever played. And
so good.
I loved it. Mm-hmm. And I cannot wait to revisit it because it has been, it's probably been close to 20 years. I can't remember when that came out, but it was like, I feel like it was beginning of the Xbox 360 era. Yep. Then we've got Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, May 21st. I feel like that's like a big AAA title. It'll be really interesting to see the discourse around it being an 8-hour game, but also like a narrative.
And that's Xbox Series X and PC.
Yeah. Action game. And Braid Anniversary is on everything.
Yep.
And then we got Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on the Nintendo Switch. You are a big fan of this game.
Cannot wait.
I have never played it, and I am very excited to play it because I feel like it's the best in the series, and I like a Paper Mario game as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm so glad I did not play Super Mario RPG, because if I did, I don't think I would want to play this.
Yeah, they're
at this moment,
a little too similar feeling in terms of how they kind of pan out. Now, Paper Mario, I think, is just so much more charming. But I have both games, and I'm going to hold off on Super Mario RPG to finish that one up.
Now, see, I grew up. My childhood was Super Mario RPG, and I never had a Paper Mario game in my childhood. I've revisited that series throughout my adulthood, so I don't know that it's more charming than Super Mario RPG, but that's just me. Multiverses is coming out May 28th. And that, I believe, is the
Smash
clone. That's like the sequel to.
It's been in like alpha for forever and like all kinds of stuff.
So it's the same game that we've been playing this whole time.
But there's like I think it's officially launching at that time. So like it's officially coming out, and that's the release date. So
interesting.
I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but yeah, it's got all kinds of WB characters and all kinds of crap in there. So
yeah, if it's the same game that I played a year ago or whatever, it's fine. I had fun with it for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I put Smash Brothers back on.
This is fine. So yeah, for me, obviously the one I'm excited about most is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I cannot wait to play that.
I'm most excited about Animal Well. Personally, this is Video Game Donkey's first published
title.
Game.
Big deal.
I actually really respect Video Game Donkey's video game criticism. I think he's a very smart critic. I think that he's hilarious as well, and it would be cool if he could also publish a really cool game also.
I think this is what they're kind of waiting with bated breath to see if this really pans out, because he kind of came out with some confidence and swagger saying like, hey,
he did.
I've spent a long time playing games. I know what makes a good game. And
I'll say this, like, because, as a viewer of his content, you get to know kind of what kind of game somebody likes. I pretty much like all the games that Donkey likes. So if he's going to like this platformer, Metroidvania kind of game, then that's probably going to hit for me.
It looks neat. Stylistically. It looks
very cool.
Really cool. Like this neon, like liminal kind of art style. I'm into it.
Yeah.
So that comes out May 9th, pretty soon. Exciting times. All All right, let's jump over to our Game of the Month Club discussion. So each month, Landry and I choose a game that we'll play, and then we'll talk about it on the show, and you guys can all play along with us for the whole month. We like this because the month gives everyone enough time, especially those of us that may have little ones or just maybe not a lot of time. A month is an adequate amount of time to actually jump in and give at least something to a game and be able to sort of join in on the conversation. So because we knew it was the hotness last month and it had just kind of recently come out, we chose Balatro. And I think this game has continued to stay in the topic of conversation. I heard people on GameScoop today talking about it. It is still very much in the popular discussion or popular discourse. And Landry, I'll let you start off with your highs for Balatro.
Dude, I bought this game almost immediately when I heard about it because my favorite game in the whole world, like video game, anything, is poker. I love poker. I love having poker nights with a lot of my friends, and I would play every night if I could. But really, Balatro, it uses the poker hands, but that's really like it as far as what poker is. And Balatro has this system where you can get like these jokers that just kind of amplify whatever cards you have. And they're also using 4 decks of cards at the same time. So it's pretty wild. Or it's not using 4 decks. It's just using 1 deck of cards, right?
Yep, just 1 deck of cards.
Just 1 deck of cards. Yeah, sorry. But with those score multipliers, it's just crazy how you can kind of like build out your poker hands or even get a run going. It's almost hard to talk about this game in a coherent fashion, but get a run going where you're like going just for flushes or just for straights or just for pairs. Like you were telling me about a pair strategy yesterday.
Yes.
And it's really, really fun and very addictive, but I've had a blast with it so far.
Same here. It is such a clever concept. It really hadn't, I was telling you about this yesterday, but like it really hadn't clicked with me until this week. Mainly because I hadn't spent enough time with it. So I finally was like, I got to play this enough to where I can talk about it some more with Landry. And it's just such a great take on poker. I am not a poker fan. I think the game takes far too long. I think the loop is not that satisfying. And it's just like, dude, I'm done. Like, this is not exciting for me. I'm just losing money here. But in this context, you're not losing money. And it also has all those deck builder elements, and it's a roguelite. So every single time you play through, you're going to get new power-ups and new abilities, and you kind of have to just adapt on the fly and hope that you get some good RNG to make you like have the best deck possible to fight these later antes or big boss or big blinds. And I think it's just such a clever, simple take. I don't know how this hasn't happened yet. Like, I don't know how it took this long for this game to come out. Where someone was like, card games, poker's a card game. Roguelikes, those are popular. People like roguelike deck builders, roguelike poker. Oh my gosh. And it just makes sense. Like it
makes a lot of sense.
It's so simple and it's cheap. Like what was it in the eShop? Like $14.99. Easy decision. Yeah. And it's just so replayable. And it's made me enjoy poker a little bit more. And yes, the strategies you can go for, the different card power-ups and different challenges you can sort of add to the game if you want to by playing with different decks is just like, it's so clever.
I did one run last night where so in the game you can have up to 5 jokers, and you almost always, if you want any shot, you need all 5 of those, and maybe even 6. There's a way to get 6 as well.
Yes.
But I did one last night with 1 joker, and this joker would eat all the other jokers. Like that's its power, but it gains times 5 or 0.5 multipliers with the X, not the plus, every time you select a blind. So by the end, I just had that 1 joker, and I got all the way to like basically making like $3 million each round, and that was the highest I'd done. But it was just so cool to
1 joker
to get that 1 joker, which I had seen probably 15 times, and I'd always been like, I'm not gonna pick this because it's going to destroy all my other jokers. And then I did, and it was like, okay, I'm going to do this every time now because that was insane.
It was so fun and so easy. Yeah. But the game's just so well designed too, where you can go up against a boss that has like the perfect like set of power ups to like totally just debuff your entire deck, and you're like, well, okay, I'm screwed.
So it is really frustrating when, and I guess we can talk about some lows, but like the game moves at a pretty slow pace.
It does.
So like there's no way to speed up everything at the end, and if it was just a little bit faster it'd be nice, but it can be really frustrating to get to like the 8th ante, which is the very end of a run, and then lose because you get the wrong draw on a boss or something like that. And I mean, that's part of a roguelite. That's supposed to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels like
hurts.
sometimes it's wasting my time a little bit with some of the way that some of that stuff takes so long to go through, like the little animation at the end that like cashes out all your stuff. Like I want that to be a few seconds faster.
Yeah, a little bit faster. And they give you the option to at least skip some of the blinds if you want to, which kind of moves you along a little bit faster. But you a lot of times need to be able to play those to rack up cash and buy more cards.
True.
So it's kind of like I'm not gaining much by doing this. Sometimes it's worth it. For me, the only real negative I've run into is the UI is just not great on handheld. I don't know if you've played that much on handheld. Have you played on that?
I've pretty much almost played on handheld, or all the time I've been playing on handheld.
Maybe it's just my eyes, but I noticed when I was playing a little bit ago that like when I had the scan filter on and like other things, it was just really hard to see the distinction between a club and a spade sometimes. And like,
interesting.
When I was bumping them around, I was like, what is that symbol right there? And I'm like, oh, dang it, I selected the wrong one. Like that was a little bit frustrating, and some of the text is hard to read. But I played on the TV, so easy to see. I took off the scan lines way better.
Okay, I didn't know you could even take the scan lines
and the cards like don't move and like wiggle around when you're like are trying to read them anymore. So I was like, this is better for me.
Yeah, there is kind of like a blurring effect on it all. It hasn't bothered me, but which is weird because sometimes like some of that stuff really gets on my nerves. But it hasn't bothered me at all. But I might take the scan lines off. Just a minor
qualm, but overall, still really enjoyed it. So
yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is just a really solid game for what it is.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to like poker to play this game. I think it'll help a little bit if you understand poker, at least to some extent.
Or deck builders. I've never played a deck builder that I liked. I did not much care for Slay the Spire. Roguelites aren't my favorite genre.
Love Slay the Spire. Loved Inscription. So this is very much like my kind of game in terms of deck builders.
I think whether you're coming at it from a poker angle like me or a deck builder like Jake, I think this is a pretty solid game for you to try out.
Indeed. So that all being said, Landry, how would you score Balatro?
Dude, I'm going to give it a 5. Hate being a big old softy. That's 2 months in a row I've given a game a 5. But this game just hits for me especially hard. And I put like 40 hours into it already. And I'm probably going to play as soon as we get off this call as well.
I don't know why I'm giving it 4. I'm giving it a 4 just because it feels like it deserves a 4. That's still a very high score. It's great. It's a good game. Yeah. You should play it. I think it's one that I know I won't play forever though. Like I think I'll get my fill on it pretty soon, and like it's not going to have this majorly lasting impact on me. Whereas like some games like really sit with me, and I'm like, man, that game is so freaking good. Like Balatro, I feel like right now is very good. It's addicting, but addicting does not always equate to like top tier. Like for me. So
no question. I completely agree with that. I think that there's a really good chance that I could come back down to a 4. What's going to really dictate that is as I spend more time with the game, like, am I ever going to get out of my current play style? Like if I'm only going for flushes and that's all I ever do, then I'll probably knock this down a peg. But I feel like there's other ways to exploit the system that I just haven't figured out. And that's what's interesting to me about this game is like, how much more am I going to get out of this? I'm there for it. So
yeah. And that's like the beauty of the roguelites, even if you are playing long runs and you lose, like by playing so many cards or doing whatever, you eventually unlock new jokers and better powers that will be randomly added to your decks throughout your runs after that. So yeah, good stuff, man. All right. Now the exciting part, we're going to pick our game for May. And we're bad about picking these ahead of time, but we put some on the list. And so I had a general question to Landry before. I said, do we want to try and pick retro libraries? So like I haven't really played Skyrim all the way through. Link to the Past I haven't finished. Kingdom Hearts I've finished, but I'm kind of pining to go back and play Kingdom Hearts 2 right now. Or do you want to check out Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which I know is hot and it's already been discounted. Yakuza Like a Dragon, I think, is free on PS Plus. You probably should have it. Or Ukulele and Impossible Layer, I just picked up on Switch for like, I don't know, like $5 or something like that, or $10.
Yeah, I have that game too, and I've played it, but I would always be down for a replay. Dude, you know what? It's whatever we feel like. I've played all of the retro games you listed, and I would be happy to play any of those again. I love the idea of playing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. The only one I don't want to play right now is Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Too many hours. I put LOL next to that one because it's so many hours. Like, that's not a game that we can just easily decide to play.
I think I would enjoy it, but it's just not. I'm not in the mood for that right now.
Let's go for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yeah, dude.
Let's do it.
In honor of Metroid.
Exactly.
The Metroidvania. Super
Metroid. We're on that grind right now. Lots of Metroidvanias.
Dude, I just finished Metroid Zero Mission as well.
You're a maniac.
I know. I'm a madman.
Don't
but I'm still ready.
up.
I'm ready for another one. I'll probably, like, at the end of Prince of Persia, I will be burned out on Metroidvanias for a long time.
All right, sweet. So that is our game of the month for May. We're going to play Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. That just came out on Switch, PS5, Xbox. I think it's pretty much everywhere. And it is discounted right now, I think, to like $20. So if you want to play along, jump on in with us.
I saw it for $29.99 on Switch. If it's $20 somewhere, you're going to have to send me that link.
I hope so. We'll find out. What was it originally? Like $40?
No, it was a full $60 game.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's already gone down half. Never mind. Big discount. All right. Now it's time to jump into our last segment. Name That Game Music, the hit game where Landry and I play music for each other, and we have to earn points by guessing the correct game and moment. And so we do this in 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2, so we can share them later on social media because people love this crap on social media. And so, I'm going to play this here. And up first is going to be Landry. So are you ready, Landry?
Let's go, man. Give it to me.
We've been doing pretty good with these so far. So
I'm a little nervous. I feel like it's going to get really hard this time.
No. I think we're good. I'm going to go as easy as I can until it gets. We just run out of songs.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Oh yeah. Oh, ominous. So far, very familiar. I don't have it yet, though. How long are you going to let me listen to this?
I'll let you keep going.
Okay. Like right now, my head is like stuck on Metroid, but I'm also thinking like, this is gotta. I'm also thinking like, oh, okay, dude, what a freaking tune! This is I don't know why I'm blanking so hard.
You should know this one.
I know this song 100%.
Everyone in the comments is like, oh my gosh.
Like, what does this guy's do? I'm going to say, turn it off. Let me think for a second. Man,
go back to the Gregorian chants, okay?
Yeah. I've heard this probably 100 times in my life. I'm going to say Metroid. Am I in the right franchise?
No.
What's wrong with me? Why?
I mean, there is a spacesuit, sort of. Okay.
Is it Star Fox?
No.
God, why am I such a terrible human?
Okay, it is not Nintendo. It is Xbox.
Oh my God, it's Halo. God, it's Halo. I'm an idiot. Dude, yeah, 100%.
The OG Halo opening music. Oh.
My brain was just already in the Metroid phase.
So sorry. I'm so sorry I threw you off with that one.
No, I mean, that was like the biggest layup.
I was like, this is like one of the most popular songs of all time.
And I played that game growing up a lot. I never was like a huge Halo guy just because I was always trash at first-person shooters. But I knew that one.
Sorry, man.
It's
sorry,
okay.
man. All right. Well, now maybe I won't get this one. Maybe I won't get it. And we're just this is our week right now. This is just maybe all zeros.
Well,
all right. Number 3 is what this one is first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mystery MP3 is what you call this. Here we go. Oh, geez. Okay, this is Mega Man for sure.
Okay, you're right about that.
But which Mega Man?
See, this is more my space right here.
This is the opening sequence of Mega Man 2. This is my guess.
Dude, yeah, title sequence, Mega Man 2.
Right.
Crushed it.
He's like standing on top of the tower, and it's all epic and stuff like that. Yeah,
hair's blowing in the wind.
Dude, well done, so good. I forgot he had hair. That doesn't even make sense.
I know.
All right. This next one is for sure a layup. You got this, dog.
All right, don't do this to me. The last one was a layup.
You got this. You got this. Here we go.
Well, Super Mario World, bro.
That's right.
Title screen.
Boom. Easy.
Yeah.
Title screen. I was waiting for that. I was like, where is it at, Landry? Well done.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good tune right there.
It's such a good one. So nostalgic. I have heard that music I don't know how many times at this point. Which is just, it's so happy, so cheery.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, last one. Mystery MP3 number 4. Oh no, I don't know if I know this one.
Oh, you might not. It goes so hard though.
It does. Turn this up a little bit for myself. Oh, I've definitely heard that.
If this wasn't a part of your childhood, if you're a GameScoop fan, you probably heard this music on GameScoop like multiple times. This is a big Damie game.
Oh man, I have no idea. I'm gonna guess Star Fox 64.
Okay, it's a good guess. It's Contra 3 Alien Wars.
Contra
the first
3.
level.
So good. All right, you got me. You got me on that one. Yeah, I never played Contra.
Literally the easy. I'll not be able to get over that, man.
That's okay. Well, in Landry's defense, he's hearing these tunes played back to him in like a compressed and crappy like volume. Like they don't come through as crispy on your side.
There's literally no defense. There's no defense.
You recognize it after the fact, but one of these days we'll figure out how you can play it on your side and like hear it clearly.
What's hard is like, like my brain gets into these little compartments, right? Mm-hmm. So like I'm in the Nintendo compartment right now, and obviously I've heard that Halo music. I've played Halo 1, 2, and 3, but it's just never. I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, Contra 3, like I never played, so I have no context for that. I was like, I recognize like the chipsets a little bit, like they're definitely like older, but I was like, I don't even know what this could be from, to be honest.
Sorry, I went a little too hard there.
Was that Super Nintendo?
Yep, that was Super Nintendo.
I should have guessed what that like.
It's a good Super Nintendo game. Yeah.
Well, good job, us. We both got 10 points still, so a tie this week. Or tie this month, and we'll see how we land or fare next month. But if you have suggestions you'd like us to pull in for Name That Game Music, please send them to BitCast at bitbloggers.com.
Send them to Jake. He'll play them for me.
We'll play them together.
If you guys didn't know, just throw in some Xbox stuff in there. It's going to trip me up.
I'll never get it. Honestly, like the only Xbox game I would have known would have been Halo. Like everything else, I'm like, I thought about Gears of War for a second. And I was like,
I don't remember any music from that or Fable. I don't remember any music from Fable.
Same. Skyrim, we might know, but that's
Skyrim. I would probably know.
Still a stretch for me.
I wouldn't consider that an Xbox game. But
yeah, you're right. That's like when it was big. But yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, y'all, that is the end of our podcast. Listeners, what did you think of the April overall? Let us know by writing into BitCast at bitbloggers.com. And Landry, thank you so much for being on the podcast as always. Where can the good folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Soft Iconoclast. I'll be tweeting about books and music and games, and every once in a while, sports.
Dude, I meant to mention this to you. Have you read maybe you did answer the King Killer Chronicles? Have you read those books?
I have not, but I saw on Goodreads that you were on that, and then my buddy, I follow 4 people on Goodreads, and both of you read. Is it In the Name of the Wind?
Yeah, The Name of the Wind.
Within the same month. And y'all don't know each other who each other are, but you're both from Memphis too. And I was like, oh man,
same person. I guess
this is a sign.
Just finish those up and would recommend, but we'll talk about that after this because this isn't a book podcast. But
yeah, let's name those.
bunch of lamos. Yeah, books are for nerds. All right, well, until next time, y'all, this has been BitCast. Thanks for tuning in. Talk about some stuff.